Well, let's go to another issue now. Chris Bowen, of course, yesterday announced the government's latest push to get us all driving electric vehicles by the end of the decade. So buckle up. We're getting a new fuel efficiency standard for Australia, which is basically a pollution cap on all new vehicles in the country. Some say that will push us back into the second-hand car market. We'll see. They also want a whole lot more to help understand what some of this detail is. Joining me now, the founder of CarExpert Australia, Paul Maric. Paul, I'm delighted to have you on the show. I listen to you often when you're on radio, and I thought, let's get an expert in who knows a lot more about the car end of the business and not so much the politics out of Canberra. Take us through what these fuel efficiency standards mean and what are the government's targets here for EV sales?
Yeah, look, Australia has become a bit of a dumping ground for cars, and these are cars that manufacturers can't offload in Europe and in other countries where they do actually have standards. And as a result of that, we are getting kind of the raw end of the deal as a punter if you do want to buy a car in Australia. So the government's come out and said, well, we're going to put standards in place. We're going to fine manufacturers who keep bringing these cars to Australia, and they want to incentivise them to actually bring more efficient cars, and that also means more electric vehicles to Australia as well.
But aren't some of these cars that they want to basically divert us away from some of the top-selling utes and trucks and cars that Australians, SUVs that Australians are buying?
Yeah, so it sounds like a great idea on top, but then when you actually delve into it, it sounds like a bit of a terrible idea, actually. And that is because if you look at the two best-selling cars in Australia, the Toyota Hilux, the Ford Ranger, both of those vehicles aren't available in even a mild hybrid, which is the simplest form of electrification you can get. So if the government comes out and says, OK, well, we're going to fine Ford and Toyota for selling this car in Australia, they're not going to sell it in Australia anymore. And you, as someone who needs to drive a dual cab ute for work, I really don't understand what you're meant to buy. And these manufacturers don't offer electric versions of these vehicles in Australia yet, and there are really none on the horizon at the moment.